Yes, yes, I'm looking for your food right now. Morning. There it is. Oh my god, yay! I have to go to the fucking store. Hello. I'm really starting to get worried about you. Orly still has not eaten. There's no screen? Well, I don't care. Find something. Where'd that thing I just saw? Do I have scissors? I can't believe this. Yes, baby. Oh, yeah. Don't be so nasty. This is why y'all men are alone. It's because you talk to girls like that. This is the pornification. Just because you watch porn doesn't mean that it's real. Did you know that the porn industry... No, I can't touch my ceiling. No. The porn industry has completely destroyed men's brains. Like, it's intentional too. Like, every time you watch porn, you are basically saying, yes, Israel, yay, Zionists, please take all my free will and all of my morals. Like, no thanks. Just dumb. It's just dumb. I wish Nikki was here. What did I do? Oh, it's right here. Your cheesecloth. Doing and been very well. It's warm. Warm footer. I need to get a drawer organizer. A drawer organizer. Why won't you just stay? This is Elliot's placenta. This is Elliot's placenta right here. When I gave birth to my son, my midwife took my placenta and she dehydrated it and then ground it up and turned it into capsules for me. Anytime I'm having like a rough go, like my period, something's not right, I take this, boom, I get my period. Instantly. That is a big gap, and that's open. This stuff is left over. Ooh, little pins! Oh my goodness! Get out of the dishwasher! It's a Yoda pancake. It's a baby Yoda pancakey thing. Oh, these are Jell-O molds. These are old Jell-O molds. What? Wow, cool. What are you doing, weirdo? Excuse you, that's my cabinet. What are you doing? Oh, actually, it needs open though. Let's turn the air on. What am I missing from this? God damn it. Kim! playing? Are you playing with a toy right now? Should put the flower in the bigger ones. That's what I should do. That's what I should do. That's what I'm gonna do. Just wait for it to dry. There's this thing that's been floating in the corner of my room for like a day now. It's a tuft of my dog's hair. Yes, I'm homeless, standing in my kitchen. Fucking idiots. Dry goods, not spices. Sorry, Mama. You're like, keep stepping right where my toes just went on either side of her leg. I was trying to stop from stepping on her. God bless America and retards that live in it. May God have mercy on the retards. Nervous about these that have stuff on them. I just want stainless steel, just plain solid metal. Baking dishes. Pie pans. Pyrex pie pans. I like Pyrex pie pans too. Pyrex pans is what I like to use. I like Pyrex cups also too. Something to listen to on, so I stopped making my own sounds.
unboxing my unique makeup products after another round of teasing. This time from Korea and China. Let's get straight to the first product though. I bought this because I was tempted by the advertisement. But if you look at the advertisement, it looks really interesting. But usually these advertisements are a bit too much. So let's see if it really lives up to the advertisement. Well, the second one is from Korea. This is a skin tip. But what makes it unique is the packaging that already has a built-in spatula like this. It's really unique because I've never seen a model like this before. Well, I bought this last one because I often...
I don't think you have to be friends with somebody to defend their widow. I really don't. I don't think you actually have to be close to that person, or I think that actually you can just defend the widows of people who get shot from conspiracy theories about how they did the shooting.
Yeah, I like cast iron.
Ben, if there's no conspiracy, then why do your eyebrows look like blacked out pages from the Epstein files? Oh, so I was on Tuft recently, and I told the story of why the Tyler Robinson is the killer doesn't line up at all, right? And I also made fun of Erica Kirk, her way of grieving, because she really grieves differently. And Ben Shapiro did not take kindly to it. Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, I don't know, part of the MOU agreement is that his eyebrows are going back to the 67 borders. And but it's fake. Everybody knows that Charlie couldn't stand Ben Shapiro, and Ben Shapiro was always trying to tear down Charlie because he was jealous. Everybody knows this, right? And so now after he's dead, he's pretending that he's his best friend. But here he is trying, let's watch this, let's see. He's very upset at me and Tucker, but mostly Tucker, letting me say all that stuff I said on Tucker's show.
And Jimmy Dore then just jumped into a 9.5-minute monologue about how Charlie was killed by a wide variety of conspiratorial forces, meaning Jimmy Dore. Here he was, and you can hear Tucker Carlson laughing and loving every second of it.
Takes the gun apart, leaves the screwdriver there, puts it under a towel, Spider-Man's his way off the top of the building, runs across campus with the gun apparently under a towel. Nobody sees this. He runs into the woods, puts the gun back together again without the screwdriver. He's a regular MacGyver, this guy. And then he hides the gun in the backyard of a house owned by Palantir. And if you think anything else besides that, you're a crazy Jew-hating conspiracy nut. Tucker's got a good sense of humor.
Australia is when we knew it was bad for y'all around COVID. I think a lot of Americans during the COVID time realized, like, oh shit, like, look what's happened in Australia and Canada, which are supposed to be, or in England, which are supposed to be our peers, but they don't have the First Amendment. And so, and they also don't have the Second Amendment. So look what's happening to them. Our First and Second Amendments are so much more important to us now, post-COVID, now that we've seen what Australia and Canada is dealing with. Money, no. Do you want me to do your litter box? I'll change your litter box. How about that? I need a bag. The old bag that had her food in it. Let's go do the scoop. Scoop some poop. Scooping the pooping. Dude, my dog, I'm starting to get really anxious about my dog. I'm worried he ate something and, like, now he's got a blockage in his intestines or something. He seems fine, but he's not eating. He's drinking water and he's peeing, but he is not eating food at all. And that's what's making me the most nervous because he's a highly food motivated individual. But he still will eat snacks, treats, human food, stuff like that. So anything that he would normally be motivated, and he's still motivated, like he'll still get up and come for a treat, you know, like he's acting completely normal except for he's not eating food. I'm like, I don't know what to think about it. And I can't do anything about it. Like, I have absolutely no fucking money. Every single penny I have went into this house. Or every penny I had, rather, went into this house. That was a very expensive move. I spent, like, a lot of money. Meow. Come here, kitty. Oh, you're eating. I was gonna say your food is served. Oh, I gotta get her like somewhere to do this litter thing, like a litter box. I gotta get the house or the box from my bus. The one that has, it's like a house. It has walls. That's what I want. Oh, and my bed will be here in like 6 days. I'm gonna have to vacuum my bedroom. I think it's gonna be just under a week until my bed gets here. I cannot wait.
Have you been taking improv classes? That's fun. Wow. I can just hear. Okay. When we come back from the Tucker clip, stay on me while I lift my giant eyebrows in phony concern. That's what that is. Okay.
You know, Jimmy, I hope a lot of people don't know this, but Ben Shapiro just came out with a new eyebrow candle. It smells like dick.
Nice.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Like Dan Bongino. Look at his eyes.
That guy is, yeah, things Al does right. Same episode.
So he says elm. So that's the nicotine pouches that Tucker takes called elm. So he says, oh man, things Elf does to your brain. Yeah, but it does. It gives you clarity so you can see when there's an assassination that's being pulled off and fed to you around it, and it's not the truth. That's what Elf does for you. It allows you to see through bullshit from the FBI. Cash Patel, who, by the way, always looks like he's smuggling coke up his ass. They got him 33 hours, and don't look into that 33 thing. It's got nothing to do with satanic Freemason bullshit. Everybody, the FBI worked with the local police and the state police and the campus police, and then we got him. And then, his dad turned. Anyway, that was.
So, here's your door, mocking Erica.
At least I like that he can't stop saying my name. It's fun to hear my name said by other people. I can't. I'm not getting a kid. I'm a narcissist in that way. I like to hear it. So he gets my name right. He's no Bill Maher.
Reading wrong.
Okay. I have to tell you literally the most exciting thing. So, Papa Kilo, you're never gonna believe who is probably moving in with me. It's not Nikki. Nope. Yes. I just talked to my landlord about it and it's okay, so I have to text her to tell her. Oh no, these don't fit in the cabinet! I can keep these here. I'll be right back, I have to text her.
I don't think you actually have to be close to that person, or I think that actually you can just defend the widows of people who get shot from conspiracy theories about how they did the shooting.
Hey, by the way,
Ben Shapiro is obviously just really tired. Ben Shapiro seems very tired, like, of his job, his life, like, the whole thing. He seems just, he doesn't want to do this anymore, it seems like.
Okay. But if you're going to pretend to be close to that organization, then this is how it's going wrong.
So, but just the irony of Ben Shapiro, again, who hated Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk hated him. Everyone knows they hated each other. Candace Owens has revealed the text messages saying so. And then for him to now try to shame Tuft, his profession now is to be a scold, a conservative scold, telling people how they're supposed to behave and who they're supposed to like and not like. And just from here it goes, he's going to throw it to Tucker. This is obviously a setup, and you're not allowed to ask questions about it. And if you are, you are attacking a grieving widow. And that's, again, when did Jackie O ever say, quit looking at it, stop? Quit looking at it and kill my husband? Never. That's not what happens. And that's not how you grieve, by the way. I remember when my dad died, my mom immediately bought a gold sequin pants outfit. So I'm carrying sparkles around and selling t-shirts. And my friends were like, Jimmy, what's with your mom? I'm like, she's grieving. I grieved more than Erica Kirk when my drug uncle was kept
Hey Jimmy, you cut off a little bit of the edge here. This is actually an advertisement. This whole video for Ben Shapiro is an ad. Do you know that they're paying?
No, I didn't know this.
A full episode that plays before you watch another YouTube video.
No.
That's how he's getting his views.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, people have posted screenshots online. It says ad, and it's like an hour long for this whole episode.
Oh my god.
That's how you.
Oh my God.
He goes, then he sells that to the advertiser. He said, "Oh look, I'm getting 300,000 views per episode."
Oh. So the only thing I don't like about getting attacked by Ben Shapiro is that nobody sees it.
Plus, you play. You're giving more.
He's going to get more views off of this than he got off that video.
Well, that was on Tuft. That was on that. Well, that was on Tucker Carlson's show.
Unbelievable. That's what everybody's saying about America. That's on Tucker Carlson's show. That show that gets over 50 million views every second. You get that show?
Some people need to do a better job. I think it's fine. Clearly, some people hate them on it.
By the way, if there's a shortcut to proving a conspiracy theory to be real, I think it's Ben Shapiro saying it's fake. I think that's how you can confirm it's real, right? He's the pan of water being thrown on a grease fire. That's what Ben Shapiro is. All right, what's that joke? I get some more jokes. If you're looking up grieving in the dictionary, it doesn't say see pyrotechnics, okay? If Ben Shapiro was your defense attorney, I'd say give your affairs in order because he's going to give you the death penalty for a parking violation.
Jimmy, you're starting to go downhill, buddy.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if you noticed, Jimmy, but all three of these images of Ben Shapiro's eyebrows, it's like somebody's like directing him. Like on this one, they go, look a little sincere.
That one?
Now I want you to look a little demonic. And now I want you to look really demonic.
It's like he's doing
I hate live comedy.
Do you think that Tyler Robinson did it?
Let's jump over to Baron really quick. Where's that timestamp? Beautiful, beautiful. Let's get into this because Baron was talking about not really knowing much about Stu Peters. Well, I do. I would say I know quite a bit about Stu Peters. Not in a bad way, but I definitely know.
Heather, you asshole.
Definitely. Baron's saying he's never listened to people. He's never really, he doesn't track anything that he does. I do. I mean, let's jump over to Baron really. I'm so glad that he found this out. I'd love to know how he found this out. I would love to know. Anyway, let's go here. This coffee is getting to me. Okay, let's go.
That's moment for 15 years I spent there. I feel like I've got a moral obligation to Blake. And again, I go back to Tucker Carlson, just frankly, a damn good person. That's the language, but that's what a loyal person does. You don't turn your back on
Why
them.
do I do this to myself?
I don't want to judge people by the lowest moments. Blake's problem is his lowest
Why
moment.
can't I just leave things where they are?
His lowest moment.
Haha!
He cannot stop himself from attacking minority women. And it gets old. And at a certain point, you just have to, you gotta talk about it. So here are the other open questions. Here are the open questions I can come up with. These were my notes. I'm just reading you from my notes that I've taken over the last several months. My number one open question was, what was his other employment? What was he doing? Post Fox and before TPUSA, what was he doing? That was an open question. I could not find an answer. And I can say here, this remains the single most important unresolved question. I mean, that's word for word what I had in my notes. Another open question was I could never find the exact date he joined either Charlie Kirk or USA. There's a lot of reference to 2022. I know by June of 2023 he was on air, so it had to be before that. There were references to producer Blake before that, but I could not find a specific date. I also couldn't find, because I couldn't find it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I could never find a direct personal statement of accountability. A lot of times when you get caught in a situation like that, you come out and you say, hey, that's not who I am. I got carried away. It wasn't funny. I didn't know that, and I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry I let people down around me. I'm sorry I put something false in Fox News in a bad way.
It just seems like every person who's Israel forward is also a sexual deviant. It's what it seems like to me.
And I also put as an open question, the full scope of his social media post.
I need a carpet in my
as
kitchen.
he was
ASAP.
Or did he have other
I cannot stand touching this floor.
pseudonymous, whatever the word is, post? Did he have other posts on his social? Now you don't understand because the only influence is all the host. Did he have other fake names on that website? Did he have other fake names on other websites? Was he on Reddit? Was he on Twitter? I don't know. That's an open question. But what is no longer an open question to me is what was he doing in those intervening years? Or at least the intervening months. Because I got a tip. Now, on this show, I kind of asked the question, what was he doing before he went to work at TV USA? And I finally got a tip. And they said he was working for another content creator. So I did. Then I found nothing. I asked around, I could find nothing. So I go back to my source. What content creator are you talking about? Because I keep looking, I ask around, I can find nobody. And they said he was working for Stu Peters. That's where he was working this morning. And he worked as a writer for Stu Peters. And that shocked me. That shocked me. I don't follow Stu Peters. I never have. It doesn't mean I don't like Stu Peters. It doesn't mean I think he's that guy. It doesn't mean that I think he's a horrible human being. I don't know him. I've never met Stu Peters. I've never talked to him. I've not talked to current, well, I don't know, current, former employees of Stu Peters who confirmed that Blake did in fact interview and then I learned that he was actually still working there while he was on the Charlie Kirk show. That he was still writing for Stu Peters as late 2023. And maybe beyond that, I don't know. Now, me mentioning this is not to say anyone who works for Stu Peters is a bad guy or Stu Peters is bad. My point is, the mission of Stu Peters is really, really not in line with the mission of TPUSA.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I do follow him. I do check out his stuff.
Yeah, so do I
Before
sometimes.
he was always in the algorithm. And he is very, very questioning what happened to Charlie. He's been questioning for a while. He's very upfront with what he thinks happened to Charlie and who he thinks did it in Philadelphia. He's very much not a Zio Ranger. I mean, he is not a Zio Ranger. I mean, he's the kind of guy that if he showed up to a turning point event, just like you guys know Nick, you know, if Fuentes shows up to a turning point event, they just ban him. They just go, oh, you have to leave. Nobody, he doesn't even get into the stage where Charlie is. They just say, you got to leave. If Stu showed up to a turning point event, they would probably make him leave. They would probably be like, you have to go. You have to go. Because again, very anti-Philadelphia. Very, very anti that whole thing, that whole BB, all that stuff. Very outspoken guy. I would say kind of like Alex, or Alex Tones, as we know fondly on the show.
I don't think Stu
like
Peters
him, but
is quite like
in my opinion,
Alex. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's better than him. I think
He is better than
presents
Alex.
information better. I think he calls things out. He actually got banned from InfoWars. Oddly enough, he said, picture that. He was saying what he thinks is going on in the world about certain things, and he got banned from InfoWars. Like, that's a pretty crazy thing that happened, right? So, Stu Peters is an interesting guy. For Blake to be writing for Stu Peters is nuts. It's nuts. It's actually nuts. Here, I'm gonna go here because I know I haven't told Mark about it. Barron is not just saying this. I know he's saying my source, and Barron's very careful about this type of stuff. But here we go. Barron's very careful, does the right thing, right? According to his source and all that. But we do have verification of this from Stu himself. So Stu does say right here, Blake Neff was hired as a contributing writer for the Stu Peters Network after Fox fired him. Now he's at Turning Point USA, defending Philadelphia, and the official Charlie Kirk story. Great writer, but super weird. An ideological hood. Who flips for money and access. Ask Blake,
It's
ask
access.
Neff why he switched.
I just saw someone talk about that yesterday.
That.
About how they want
By
access.
Mr. Peters.
Oh, you know who it was?
Well
It was
said.
JP Spears. JP Spears made a video, I think yesterday or the day before. I caught it while I was vacuuming. And he was talking about, he's like, I can't say that what's going on with everyone else, but this is my personal experience. He's like, they almost got me. And the way that they did it, it wasn't through money. It was proximity to power. So what they would do is they'd invite me to these VIP things. And then, you know, once you get invited to VIP things, then you want to be invited to more VIP things. And that is how it's unspoken. The president, whomever, Israel, they don't have to say, if you talk badly about this, we'll do things. They don't have to say that because they have seen that if someone breaks with the group, they get shunned from the group immediately, and they don't want to be shunned from the group. They want to be in the in crowd. They want, it's like the most popular kid in high school coming and sitting down next to you at the table and being like, wow, man, you're so cool. You're doing such a good job. Want to come and hang out with us? You know, like popular kids have been manipulating nerds like that for years. That's exactly what is happening right now with TPUSA and the MAGA Trump thing. Plus they're getting paid. If anyone has the gumption to be in politics in general, probably they are a sociopath. If someone has the desire, I need that towel. If someone has the desire, I need to wipe the counter and then I need to dry this off. Get your thoughts straight. I don't understand it. I don't want to be famous. Money, you're getting flour on your feet, dude. You're stepping right in it. Of course you are. Just right in the pile of it. Thank you. Good job. Good job. Anyway.
He just flip-flops for access. He will do whatever.
Access.
And I said this episodes ago because I was.
That's because
comparing
Blake
him
Neff is
to
a
Blake.
sexual predator,
And
in
I
my
was like,
opinion.
I think Blake will just do whatever. He will do whatever he's told. He's like, what is it? It's what? It's black power. Okay, no problem, bro. Let's go. And he just starts writing black power stuff. They just say, Blake, I know it's gonna be hard for you to reach in here and figure this out. Can you write an article like a twink? What? I most certainly can. No problem. Here you go. They just whatever's put in front of them, they'll just do. He's just like, okay, let's go. And honestly, you know, again, not just to echo what Barron said, I'm not saying Stu Peters is a bad guy, but the way Blake was being when he was anonymous online, that's, you know, Stu Peters is not a troll. He's not a troll by any means. He's not a troll, but very outspoken. Very much, you can say whatever you gotta say, or he will say whatever he has to say. Blake, the way Blake was when he was anonymous, aligns way more with Stu Peters than it does with Fox or Turner. Like way more, you know. Stu might find some of what he was saying funny, maybe. I don't know the guy. It's such an interesting hire. I've been very critical of Blake and everyone else in Erica's small circle. I didn't even know the guy was working for Turning Point USA until I saw him shilling the lone gunman narrative on Charlie's show. Imagine my shock. This is nuts. This is nuts. Man, can't believe it. So verified. This is 100% true. You can take that to the bank. Barron is not off point whatsoever. He's completely on point.
I wanna live
Stu
for
has
this.
verified it. Verified that
I gotta fucking live for this.
that Blake is super weird and an ideological hoover. You know, here's the thing about that. It's funny because Tucker said the same thing. When Tucker was going into his speech about like how great Blake is and how amazing he is, he was like, he's very weird. And everybody was like, yeah, he is very weird. And then Stu's like, the guy's very weird. You know? Flips for money and access.
Yes, I don't.
What does that tell you?
What can I use this for that I don't need a lid?
What does that tell you about what we're seeing?
I don't want to do sourdough in
Blake
this.
going at
It's too big.
Candace, Blake going at anybody, really, that has an issue with the official narrative, right? Calling us all crazy people, wielding weapons on the subway, you know, just obsessed and terrible and attacking family and blah, 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 which is not true, obviously. No one's attacking any family members, right? Wow. What does that tell you about Blake? And what we're seeing today with him in Turning Point? What does that tell you? No, man. No. I think that tells you that, you know, he is willing to say whatever he has to say as long as it keeps him in a good position. This is according to Stu. This is not me. This is Stu saying this. Right? So what else would he be willing to say as long, someone said he makes the perfect yes man. Yes, exactly. The perfect yes man. So Charlie
What
said,
are you doing?
Christian, yes.
Oh my God.
Of course. Devout, of course. Yes. Charlie's gone? No?
You
care about that?
idiot!
Alright. What? Opposite of what Charlie believed? Fine. Yes. Let's do that.
Let me just show you what she was doing, and thank fucking God that sugar didn't just go everywhere. So I walk in here, and all I see is her ass right here, frantically trying to get herself back up. But she can't, because this is soft. She was stuck. Don't do that!
Anything that he has been saying. This is higher.
I'm so glad that sugar did not go everywhere. Holy crap.
Blake. Someone said Blake eats boogers. How about that? Put that up on the screen there. Thanks so much for that. We do appreciate that. You know, moments like that, I want to call myself a high IQ outfit as well. Barron won't allow it. But I mean, Blake eats boogers. Come on. High IQ over here. You don't understand the complexity of that joke, you understand? It's higher brow than you think. It seems lowbrow. That's how he did it. He made it seem very lowbrow, but it's actually very highbrow. Okay? Because we know how lowbrow it is. You see what I mean? Anyway. Thank you for your input there, sir. When someone else says, Blake is a bugger. See what I mean? You know, we know what we're doing here, guys.
What are you
We know-
doing? Stop trying to go behind the fucking
I'll
thing.
fight. I'll fight for the high IQ outfit. We should be able to call ourselves the high IQ outfit. I'll fight for it, guys. Okay, we got a high IQ outfit here.
I don't want her to go out the dryer vent. I
Men's,
don't want her to be able to sneak out the dryer vent.
tackling the hard subjects. But anyway, Stu Peters is not like Blake, and he worked for the guy, and he was a good writer. That's the crazy thing. This is why I don't think Stu is lying at all. He's like, hey, he's a great writer, super weird, will flip for money and access.
Come on.
I believe him, especially when you see him go from Fox
Come on.
to Stu Peters to Turning Point USA. I mean, what does that say about somebody? He's willing to just do anything. He's willing to just write for anybody. He doesn't care. As long as he's making money.
Dude, you cannot.
And,
Oh
at
my
the same
God.
time, you know, I can't fault
Dude,
you.
I gotta figure something out about this. She keeps jumping up on the
You're a
stove
writer,
and turning
that's
on
how
the
you make
self-fucking
money, and,
cleaning
you know,
feature.
You're off. You have no work. And
I
you
gotta
didn't
get a
see it
spray
coming.
bottle and keep her off this
And
stuff.
with everything that everybody's saying about you, maybe you'll be unemployable, as Barron put it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go. You're gonna
Can't
go
do that.
where you gotta go. Can't fault them. Still call it out.
Cats! Are you trying to trip me? Is that where we're at now? Okay, that one is there. What else do I need? I've been taking the time of my life. Oh, whoa, whoa, I'm falling. Oh, I'm taking the time of my life. Oh, whoa, whoa, I'm falling. Oh, I'm taking the time of my life. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Alright, I gotta put away or hang up all of my rags to dry. I'm falling, oh, I'm taking the time of my life. Whoa, 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 whoa. Brick by brick.
Hey guys, somewhere hidden in all of the 300 and almost 400 pages of a complaint from Benton's. This is regarding the California owners. They own 2 stores in California and 1 store in Utah. They wanted to make Brick Ventures, which is doing well today. So if anyone knows about the tactics Almond McNeff, CEO of BAM, would use, it would be these guys. Because there is a pattern of behavior here, and that's what we're trying to establish, a MO, or modus operandi.
It's motive.
When somebody does something once, it's kind of weird. Someone does it twice, okay. But when this is their pattern of behavior, and they constantly do this over and over and over again, then it really does become franchise turning. So, do they want their franchises to succeed? I've talked to over a dozen franchisees of Bricks and Minifigs. Most of them
my
around the
clothespins
state of
are.
Texas. Many of them are independent couple.
Wait, it's in here.
Bro, we don't follow the corporate handbook. And then they never speak out against corporate. So there's kind of this dichotomy here where they are quite aggressive in the private my LinkedIn as to being independent, but they can't speak ill, or they will not speak ill of the corporation, even if they privately feel another way. So let's get back to what I'm showing you right here. I'm showing you this Slack. This is Slack. Slack is a DM system. It's just like changing messages. To give you the full idea of what's happening here, this is in the complaint of the BAM franchising. So anything you see here is actually BAM thinking it helps them. So BAM is either very naive, or they believe, maybe they never expected the public to really get a hold of this information, but they are actually sending. So we know this to be true, because this is not coming from the defendants.
I'm gonna have my landlord do this for me.
franchisee. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth. This
And I'm just gonna make it work for
One
now.
thing that you can understand is who filed. One thing that you should always look at is who filed it. In this case, it is BAM Franchising who filed it. So from their perspective, everything they filed is true. This makes them look like complete assholes. Now, first and foremost, they are sending these spies. They are deputizing and sending a spy in to research their competitive. So similar to what happened with Crystal before Brandon got there to kick Crystal out.
Wow, dude,
Brandon
this washing machine is
spy on
fucking
these stores.
badass. This stuff is
And many of
almost
these
dry.
stores, at least in Houston, they have a no cameras or
It's a
no video
fucking
recording allowed.
nice machine.
So it's kind of weird, right? That Brandon would be going to these stores, spying on their inventory, pretending to be a shopper when he's really not. He's a
What are you
corporate
doing, cat?
employee or corporate
Meow,
worker.
meow.
At the very least, it's corporate who told him to do this. Well,
No.
this is exactly what happened to Bricks Adventure. So they started a new store, they have a new slogan, a new logo,
Honey,
and Amin has
stop
then sent his
fucking
spy
around,
to
dude.
investigate what is happening there. Now, as all spies,
I need a
not every spy, not
clothesline.
every person is meant to be a spy. The person he sent was completely incompetent.
Money, get out of there.
He really didn't understand
You
what
are
he was
too
spying on,
curious.
which is probably inventory and so on. But he did receive this image. Now, why were they spying, and why were they taking pictures, and why were they taking pictures of the signage outside? It's because they wanted to threaten to sue. These images would then be used in a cease and desist or threat of lawsuit. Oh, here's an interesting part I want to go over. The point of sale system is their
I'm gonna go
red
back and cram as
Like I
many
said,
rags on
same
each
thing
one
with
as I can
Quiznos.
get.
Quiznos, 90% of all Quiznos have shut down. They just couldn't make a profit. The franchisees could not make a profit because Quiznos corporate charged so much money for cases of the food, the bread, the salad, the meat, and so on, that there just wasn't enough margin after rent, employees, business overhead to survive. 90% of Quiznos. Here you kind of see an image of their sales. Now I don't know if that's the sales for the entire month or if it's cut off half the month, but you can actually look at sales last year, so the whole last year month, and they're doing $15,000 to $20,000 in sale, which isn't that much. Not for a place as big and not for a place as many employees. So here is Brick Ventures. Brick Ventures is the new Bricks and Minifigs, if you will. It has separated out, and they have their own website, they have their own branding. It doesn't look like there should be any issues, right? They're also in California that has some of the best non-compete, meaning that non-compete are poo-pooed on. So you can actually have the same employees as before. So here is somebody who is reporting to Aman McNeff. FYI, since I shop there, I get this. And he's forwarding the marketing material. A spy, if you will, is now pretending to be a customer, or actually was a customer, yes. And he's getting this marketing material, which Aman is then very, very upset about. They have a new logo, a new slogan. They just didn't like being a Bricks and Minifigs. And who in this who at this point in time would want to be a Bricks and Minifigs franchisee owner? So, and they even have a new tagline. So here is what is, cautionary about this story, is that Almond McNeff, very petty man, is going to send people to spy on you. And then they're going to take pictures, and then they're going to try to sue you. Luckily for this individual, and this is probably going to save them so much headache, so much stress, they immediately got a lawyer even before all this started, and they actually said, hey, if you have any questions, it was something about like Ahmed not wanting to take a check. He wanted to claw into their account. If you have any questions, just let my lawyer know. And Ahmed's like, oh, okay, you have a lawyer? Oh, that's cool. So, same guy, W.M. William Kelly Nash, I believe. Has a BYU undergrad in business, a BYU law degree, JD, and now currently adjunct BYU professor at business. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. It's interesting to go under the hood and see how they treat people on the way out or trying to get out. And it's very, there are a million reasons not to sign a Bricks and Minifigs franchisee contract right now. Ahmed being number one, Matt probably being number two, Matt McNeff, and then somewhere along the lines, Joss and Brandon still probably part of the company in some way. But the most scary thing is, I always said this in business, how people treat you on the way out. So people, when they want you to be a franchisee and they want you to sign that contract, they want to treat you really well. They want you to sign up for that vacation home, that, what's it called, like vacation sharing or something like that, where you're going to pay tons and tons of fees. They are wanting you to sign that contract, but what happens when you leave, when the contract is month to month and then you decide to just leave? How do they treat you then? That actually probably is far more important than how they treat you in the beginning. Just like anything in sales, they treat people very, very nice and kind and respectful when they want you to sign a contract, locking you in for 10 years.
Damn it, bitch.
But after you sign a contract, what type of support do you get then? And if you want to leave because you don't feel like what was promised to you was delivered, be from the franchisor to the franchisee, then how did it treat you? Perhaps that's the most important question we have to ask is, what if it doesn't work out?
These hangers, I don't know if you've ever seen these hangers,
So
dude.
everyone is happy, everyone.
They're called kangaroo hangers, and these are literally the best fucking hangers on the planet. Your clothes do not fall out of them, and they don't leave weird marks in your clothes. They open like this, and they're like literally like indestructible. You can't break them. And you can do all different things on them. You can hold your pants and your shirt together. It's I love these fucking hangers. 10 out of 10, recommend. I do not have a link, so just go find them at Walmart maybe, I don't know. But they're great. Play.
Your wedding day, probably your happiest day of your life. But then what happens when things get tough? What happens when one person leaves? How do you act? How do you behave? I would imagine at that point in time is much more important than in the beginning where everyone has, a happy love story, right? Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below.
That was no subs. They are so good to us. That was no subs.
Wait, my hip. We'll say that They smell clean, but they don't look clean. It's a good thing they're cleaning rags. I don't want to use that one anymore. It's too far gone. Dude, this washing machine is a badass bitch. Weird random laundry that I've inherited. I also want my landlord to put this shelf up for me. Good enough place for me in the bathroom. Okay. This is my clothes dryer. Also known as a dehumidifier. Are you fucking flapping me right now? Are you flippin' flapping me? Room, I guess. So anyway, the dehumidifier is going to dehumidify. All that. Damn it. Okay. The filter. Filter looks fucking fine, bro. Now, All that stuff will dry in a matter of moments. Just this, probably even quicker than if I actually had a dryer. You know? I'm kind of confused why there's so many people in here. It's weird. You'd think there'd be more people in a bus. Okay. I think I should probably get my cat food out of the room. Put the litter box in the guest bathroom. Then she's not going to be able to get to it. So...
I wanted to be excited for the Odyssey movie. I really did. You've got literally the most epic story the Western world has ever told being brought to life by one of the most...
So it looks like we're finally going to get the details of Russiagate. Like, what was that? It seemed manufactured at the time. It seemed fake. It was confusing. Where did this come from? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we all hate Russia, and Trump is a Russian agent, something that no one had ever said before.
I need to get my watch. I
And
need to
then
get
it
my watch
just
on the charger.
saturated the media, and it was the only topic for a couple of years. And no one ever kind of went back to examine, like, how do you create a story out of nothing and then convince Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and New York Times to write about it every day? And I think we're going to find out now. Do you think?
Well, great to be here, Tucker. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Sorry, it's great to see you. You know, as I get older, my manners just evaporate.
This is like Frost Nixon, you know, it's like straight in. It's like the first question. So, why'd you burn the tapes? Or why didn't you burn the tapes? Yeah, great to be here, Tucker. Yeah, Yes, I would go even a step further, because the war right now happening between Russia and Ukraine and the West's support of it actually was an extension of Russiagate.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Because part of one of the unintended consequences of Russiagate, unintended, I think actually intended, but unintended from our perspective, because we were so focused on the Trump component, was how it was desensitized the Democrat Party to hate Russia. If you think about it, Donald Trump was the worst villain ever in the history of the world, according to the Democrat Party. So they needed to have an explanation as to how this guy, because of course it can't be the fact that they deindustrialized Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, flooded the country with a bunch of illegals and allowed opioids into the country. There must be another reason. So they tried Cambridge Analytica first. Do you remember that was the first attempt? Cambridge Analytica. Donald Trump's ability to
Why are you still going?
You want a good boy, please? I love you. You're a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Steve. Yeah. Really, right here. There you go.
I'm scared for my dog. I'm really scared my dog is gonna die, dude.
Yes, and you know this, you helped lead I don't want to see an anti-war, just this skepticism from the West. To the point that why we send all this money to for us, that used to be a left-wing thing. That used to always be driven from the base. And from AOC to Elizabeth Warren to Bernie Sanders, they were largely silent. No, it's because Putin became an acceptable villain for the Democrat Party. Because they made the archetype of villain and the archetype of Trump to be kind of one and the same. That all goes back to Russiagate. It goes back to the lie of the dirty dossier. It goes back to how our intel agencies were then used inwardly against us. And that has really been the story the last 30 to 40 credit for covering this, which is our intel services are supposed to gather and defend the homeland and to keep us domestically safe. But it's picking winners and losers in American elections and to thwart the will of popular
I need
sovereignty.
a cup with a lid.
So I hope that we get to the bottom of this, because we are still dealing with the real world ramifications. You have to wonder how many Ukrainians and Russians, by the way, because people are dying on both sides of this war that are made in the image of God, are unnecessarily dead because
I don't know,
of
dude. He
intel
just
services
won't
in
eat
2016,
food.
2017.
Like, he'll eat
I don't think
treats.
that can be said enough.
He's
Thank you for
eating
saying
treats.
again
He's drinking water.
our
He just
position
will not
as
eat
the
his
war
food.
itself. I mean,
He
I
has not
think
eaten
the
his food.
administration
He's eaten
put
one time
Russia
since we've been
into
here.
it by declaring that Ukraine was being part
So,
of
like,
NATO. That's my interpretation. I think it's true.
Like, I don't know what
But even if you don't
what to
buy
do.
that,
Like,
we seamlessly move.
like I have like so much on my plate right now. Like, I just don't know what to do. And like, I cannot take him to a vet. I do not have the money to take him to a vet. You can't just go to the vet and then they treat the animal and then you pay later. If they would do that, I would take him to the vet, but they won't. They will not take him in the door without a minimum of $120, and that's just to see him. That's just to examine him. And then if like it's something major, like I just don't have it. I just don't have the money right now, and it's not an option. And so I'm praying that he just, whatever it is, passes. I'm hoping maybe he may have gotten hurt when we picked him up and put him in the car. I don't know. I just don't know. And burn on my hand from trying to get in the car. He was completely fighting us, and like me and Nikki were trying to get him in the fucking U-Haul. because there was just nowhere else. It was like 100 degrees, you know, everything is packed, we're ready to go. And now we're trying to get the dog loaded up and we're trying to beat the sun down. And it took a while to get him in the car. It was really a struggle. It was really a struggle. And he's really heavy. So I don't know. I'm trying to just like, you know, it's here in my mind. So trying to just like get shit done. Just get shit done. Just get shit done. Just get shit done. Because like otherwise I will be sick. You know? So I'm just trying to just busy my hands and busy my mind. Today's my only day off, and I don't really, it's not a day off. I really need to go to my bus, and I need to go and get all my shit that's still there, and I need to take out all the garbage and throw everything away. But I get this fucking going. Like, I need the money, so I gotta get this done. But tomorrow I'll be there no matter what. But olive oil, he's not eating, so I can't put olive oil in his food. New member, what, where? Who is it? It doesn't say who it was. It just says, welcome to the chicken coop. Thank you so much. I don't know who did it. Comment so it'll show your new icon. What the heck? Why doesn't it show that? A methiord? I've never even seen methamphetamine before in my life. Sicilian. Oh shit, thank you. What the hell? Why won't it show it to me? Sicilian is someone in here a lot. Thank you so freaking much.
Moved from nowhere with Russia into an actual.
I don't want to listen to this. I just want to listen to something. Look in my ear. Alright, let's listen to
Kat Von D.
some more gossip stuff.
I haven't heard that name in a while. So the internet right now is ablaze with this conversation about Kat Von D's house fire in an old Hollywood Hills home that's built like a castle. A very, very beautiful, might I say, very, very cute home that has been in a lot of different films and a lot of different shoots, and apparently it used to be the home of Kat Von D. Well,
yay, plastic bags!
The home of Kat Von D has come to social media to share what apparently he could not share because of an NDA that his mother signed. Now, as you guys know, I say this every time I talk about celebrities, but I am not particularly deeply invested in all of this stuff. I don't really care about celebrities. I'm not going to come on here and pretend that I was interested in Kat Von D beyond her black lipstick, which I still technically own. When Gothy made you tend to collect black lipsticks before we get to this video. People are going to be asking me,
recycling.
This is a black
Those bottles
lipstick
out.
by Sunset Makeup with hot chocolate by Fenty over top. Don't ask me in the comment section. I don't know too terribly much about Kat Von D aside from the fact that she likes marrying white supremacists and at one point was a little witchy, and she's also a tattoo artist and now apparently
Yeah, it's so weird.
and an anti-vaxxer. You know, we all go through journeys, but I know that some of us just like a good story. So I thought that I would sit here.
I don't know
and
what
do some
botting
art
the view
and
means.
also watch these videos. I've only seen the conversation ended being on social media, and this is one of those stories that I wanted to hang out and chat about with you guys. So if you guys are into that, that's what we're going to be doing in this video. If you like content like this, let me know.
There are definitely a lot of bots in this chat room right now. There's never, oh, well, I guess it's down now. There was like 143 people in here before. And my live stream never sustains like 100 and something viewers like that. So it's weird. Definitely a lot of bots. Probably the stalker.
Anyway, let's jump into this story.
Kurt fell for it. Okay, here we go. Just information. Oh, before I can do any work, I have to put everything away. And I have to reball up my yarn. So I better just do that. That's what's gonna happen with that one. God damn it. Daggum.
Before we even start this video, I want you to do something for me. Say this out loud, and don't be weird about it. Just say it. Campanawana.
We hold you in our hearts, and when we think about you, it makes me want to fart.
Well, honestly, you probably know the rest. You know that it's I hope we never part, so get it right or pay the price. So why are we talking about Salute Your Shorts and Camp Onawana today? Well, that's because for a certain generation of Nickelodeon kids, Salute Your Shorts feels like a really big deal. It feels like one of the bedrock shows of early 1990s Nickelodeon. It feels like it ran for years, but in reality it ran for 2 seasons, 26 episodes, and that's all of it. That's
weird.
the entire show. That's fewer episodes than one season of most network dramas. It's unfortunately fewer episodes than the
I don't even
first
see any
season of
comments from
Sopranos.
Sicilian here anymore.
Yet somehow, Salute Your
Maybe
Short became one
he
of the most durable
undid it
memories
or
of an
blocked me or
entire
something.
decade
I
of
don't know.
kids' TV. Remember all the characters this show had? There was Budnick, Donkey Lips, and Dina, Spun, and Telly, and Zizi, and the adult who was supposed to be in charge. What about the scary stories of the Awful Waffle?
Awful waffle.
The lake, the forest, the camp champ. The specific, suffocating feeling that Camp Onawana was both the greatest and absolute worst place that you could spend the summer. So if a show connected that hard with its audience, why did it disappear so quickly? Well, that's what we're digging into today. Because Salute Your Shorts didn't really fail in the typical sense. However, it was also never really built to last in the first place. And once you understand the full picture, we mean the whole thing: the production setup, the network politics, the casting decisions, and the budget pressure that was quietly ticking in the background, well, then the short run of Salute Your Shorts starts to make a little bit more sense. Well, come on, nostalgia fans, pack your bags. We're going to Camp Onawana to figure out how this one ended before it was supposed to. Welcome back to Dial-Up Days. Glad you could join me. Nickelodeon before it became Nickelodeon. To really understand the show Salute Your Shorts, it helps to understand the version of Nick that it came from. And that's because in 1991, Nickelodeon was still figuring out what Nickelodeon even was. This is a network that launched in 1979 as the first cable channel built entirely for children. Throughout the 1980s, it leaned heavily on game shows and acquiring other programming. The general vibe of the network was once best described by somebody as feeling like a low-budget Canadian fever dream. And that might partially be because the show titled You Can't Do That on Television was an actual low-budget Canadian fever dream. So by the late 80s, they were trying different things. A show titled Hey Dude premiered in 1989. A live-action sitcom set at a dude ranch in Arizona that was cheap, weird, filmed at a real location with no laugh track, and a cast of teenagers who were clearly learning how to act while the cameras were rolling. And kids ate this show up. That was the formula that Nickelodeon was working with. Definitely not Disney's polished, family-friendly musical machine. Something a bit more rough around the edges. Something that felt like kids found it when the adults weren't paying attention. Things like Clarissa Explains It All, the invention adventures of Pete and Pete, and the legendary Are You Afraid of the Dark? Shows that looked a little bit handmade and that actually had children down to them. So in that world, Salute Your Shorts perfectly. It definitely wasn't glamorous and it wasn't aspirational in any Hollywood sense. It was instead dusty and sweaty and slightly under-supervised. It looked like the kind of summer camp that a parent would send a kid to because they already had written the check and there were no refunds. That was part of the appeal, and that was also part of the problem. Because the exact same scrappiness that made the show feel real was baked into the production itself. And that, of course, had consequences. The perfect Nickelodeon premise. On paper, summer camp is a brilliant kids show. You get the kids away from their parents. You trap them together for an entire summer. You give them rivalries and pranks, bad food, weird traditions, and one adult who is technically in charge but absolutely not running. Is Ugg. Camp counselor Kevin Ugg Lee, who is played brilliantly by actor Kirk Bailey, wanted authority. He just never had any. And that gap between what Ugg thought he was and what the kids actually thought of him powered a lot of the show's best moments. Before we continue, I want to pause here for a second. Kirk Bailey passed away in February of 2022 from lung cancer. He was only 59 years old. He had one of the more interesting careers out of the cast of this show. He did voice work in Frozen, Big Hero 6, Hotel Transylvania, and other big character roles across decades of TV. But for a lot of people, he'll always be Ugg. The counselor who thought he was running Camp Onawana and wasn't really fooling anyone. We really think Kirk Bailey deserved more flowers than he got. Rest easy, Ugg. Alright, back to the show. The cast dynamic was simple, but it worked well. You had Budnick, who was played by Dan Cooksey, as the camp bully who could occasionally be decent when he thought nobody was watching. Then you had the character Donkey Lips, played by Michael Bauer, a loud and chaotic and genuinely impossible to ignore child. Sponge, played by Tim Eister, was the brain of the operation. Dina was dramatic in a way that was funny instead of unbearable. Telly was the athlete of the show. Zizi was the environmentalist who had strong opinions about the lunch menu. So thankfully, with good cast dynamics, the show didn't need any complicated plots. The premise created conflict almost automatically. Who gets the best bunk? Who likes who? Who cheated at Capture the Flag? Who's about to receive an awful waffle? Which, for the uninitiated, involved a tennis racket in a victim's stomach. And this was something in the show that was talked about way more than it was actually shown, which made it a little bit more frightening. What this show understood that childhood isn't always cute. Kids can be petty and mean and competitive and gross and, of course, dramatic, all in very specific children-type ways. Salute Your Shorts let that be true without trying to resolve it in 22 minutes. Oh, and one episode in particular leaned into that harder than almost anything else on Nickelodeon at the time. The episode titled Zeke the Plumber, the story of a noseless ghost haunting Camp Onawana, genuinely scared a generation of kids who were completely unprepared for a Nickelodeon show to go there. This is a if you know, you know.
If you know,
The show that was harder to make than it looked. Now let's talk about something that the finished episodes don't exactly advertise. That is that Salute Your Shorts was a legitimately difficult show to produce. It looked simple on the surface, right? Just kids and woods, camp, lake, etc. The counselor constantly getting outsmarted. But that same simplicity required shooting on real outdoor locations with a very young cast, on a production budget that was tiny, even by early 90s standards. Producer Courtney Conti put it bluntly. According to a Mental Floss interview, she said they were making the show for about $180,000 per episode, a 5-day shoot, and described that amount of money as what I used to spend on craft service for Roseanne. This show filmed its exteriors at Griffith Park Boys Camp and Franklin Canyon in Los Angeles. with interior scenes on a soundstage in Sun Valley. So it was never a real camp, but it sure did look like one because a lot of what you saw was a real outdoor location with real dirt and real trees. Real weather, real ambient noises that the crew had to work around. Creator Steven Slavkin wanted the show to feel like a movie. So he shot it single camera on video and then processed every single episode and described each single episode as a mini movie. That sort of production or artist mindset at all was pretty unusual for Nickelodeon. It was quite ambitious. And it made every episode more expensive and a little bit more logistically complicated than a standard multi-camera studio sitcom would have normally been. And we haven't even touched on child labor laws yet. This includes strict limits on shooting hours, mandatory schooling on the set, plus complicated scheduling. And a young ensemble cast who all had different availability, of course, which all equals to a production that was working harder than the finished product suggested. The show we mentioned earlier, Hey Dude, was also shot on location, being at a real ranch near Tucson. And because of a budget that could barely cover all of the basics. This is where we kind of formed the from the start idea. Because a show that's this difficult to make on a tiny, tight budget with a young cast that was literally aging in real time was always going to have a ceiling. The cast problem. Season 2 opened with an episode titled Goodbye Michael, Hello Pinsky, and the camp actually wore black. Actor Eric MacArthur, who played Michael in Season 1, left the show before Season 2 even started filming. The character was written out of the script by having chickenpox. What actually happened behind the scenes is pretty simple also. This was a child actor that was burnt out, wanted a normal life, so went home to Hawaii to finish high school. Kylie. Sober was originally brought in for a one-episode role before producers would ask him to join the main cast. Ronnie was a much different kind of character than Michael, much more of a smooth-talking prep type. And this character worked. But the swap made something noticeable that had always been true about the show's underlying format. You could describe it as the chemistry was the whole product of Salute Your Shorts. And that's because this was not a show built on long story arcs or any high concept plots. This was built on the feeling that this specific group of kids was stuck at dinner. What happens when more of them age out? Do you recast the whole camp? Do you maybe graduate characters? Do you just keep pretending that nobody is getting taller? The cast was growing up in real time and the show's premise had a built-in clock on it. Nickelodeon was about to make a decision that would run that clock out even faster than anyone thought or hoped for. Here is what actually happened. This is the part where we get into what the show never told you. There's also some context I had intentionally not shared about this show. Salute Your Shorts did not end because it failed in any sense of the word. This was the second highest rated cable series among kids in the 60s Season 2. And this is during a time, and from the same channel, where entire TV channels existed solely to target child demographics. That is definitely a relevant enough success to warrant continuation. As a matter of fact, in 1996, which is 4 years after the show stopped making new episodes, Salute Your Shorts was still showing up in Variety's list of top 15 basic cable series. So it is incredibly difficult to say that's a show that anyone forgot about. So why did it stop? Well, put simply, there were several things happening at once, and they all landed at the same spot at the same time. Firstly, Nickelodeon wanted to move production to Florida. This is because Nickelodeon studios had opened in Orlando, and the network wanted its live-action shows consolidated there. They want to go. No relocation. Oh my goodness, shocking. Viacom, who owned Nickelodeon, was under they'll either delight you or appall you, depending about your feelings on Beavis and Butthead. Nickelodeon was reportedly being squeezed so that MTV could fund that show's production. So, our beloved Camp Anawana may have been partly canceled to pay for two idiots laughing at music videos. That is simply the sad and disappointing truth. Thirdly, Nickelodeon was changing their entire identity in real time. On August 11th of 1991, which is the same summer Salute Your Short year, Nickelodeon launched their first ever original animated series block. Doug, The Ren and Stimpy Show, and Rugrats. Ever heard of them? All across the three shows. That was the largest programming investment in the network's history at that point. So that's the direction that the money and the identity were going. Animation was cheaper to produce, especially over the long term, didn't require wrangling child labor laws and outdoor locations, and literally didn't age out of its premise every time a cast member hit a growth spurt. Now, speculation time. There's a fourth element that has been reported but is harder to confirm. According to the oral history book titled Slime, which, by the way, is an incredible document of this era if you haven't read it.
I don't think I have enough glue.
He walked off during set of season 2 filming. Reportedly to protest Nickelodeon denying pay raises for the cast ahead of a potential all roles in the creation of the show. According to the account, he never came back, and the last 2 weeks of the season were shot without him. That detail lives in a single source, so treat it as quote-unquote reported rather than quote-unquote confirmed. But it seems to fit the pattern of what was happening at the time. Now, let's put it all together. A cast of child stars that will relocate, a budget getting squeezed from the top, a network pivoting its own identity toward animation, and a creator that may have walked. All with a show that had a premise with a natural expiration date. So we can say Salute Your Shorts didn't die because nobody cared. It just got caught in something much bigger than itself. Only 26 episodes, somehow forever. So here's the strange thing about how this show lives in memory. This is a show that never had a chance to wear out its own well final season where everybody looked too old for their role. There was no awkward reboot that fell on its face, and no complete cast overhaul. There was no version of Camp Anawana set in a co-working space or something stupid like that. It just stopped. It was preserved at peak weirdness exactly as it was. And then Nickelodeon ran those 26 episodes into the ground. Heavy rerun rotation through the mid and late 90s. Nick in the afternoon. Sticky Stickly. The 90s are all that
actually.
block on Team Nick years later. So if you were a kid with the TV on during the correct years, you saw those same 26 episodes over and over and over.
Sure
And
did.
something happened in that repetition. The show didn't really feel like 26 episodes anymore. It kind of felt like the whole summer, a whole era. Now, in my opinion, the theme song alone probably accounts for a significant percentage of that memory. I mean, really, a fart joke set to piano? This was masterfully written by Slapkin himself and sung live by the cast. Like we said before, high effort in all roles involved, and somehow it burrowed into the brains of an entire generation and will probably never leave. Bud Nick's leather jacket at summer camp. Donkey Lips eating something he knows he shouldn't. Of trying to assert authority with exactly zero success. Zeke the plumber. The Awful Waffle. The Candy Black Market. All those things hit differently when you see them at age 8, and then again at age 9, 10, 11, etc. And just when you think you've forgotten about them, you see them on Saturday afternoon reruns when you weren't even looking for them. And that kind of is the rerun effect. That's why 26 episodes felt like a childhood. Camp closed too soon. So was Salute Your Shorts. Thankfully, not because mostly just because it was built in a way that was always going to be hard to sustain. The outdoor setting alone gave the show its texture. The young cast gave it heart to go along with it. The summer camp premise gave it a whole identity. But all three of those things making something so good were also the reasons it couldn't keep going indefinitely. And honestly, I have this weird feeling that it wouldn't have been the same show if it had kept going. Part of what makes Salute Your Shorts work in memory is that it's complete. It's 26 episodes of a very specific time and a very specific place and a really specific feeling. And then it ends. Like a summer. Like the real thing it was always pretending to be. Nobody remembers every day of summer. You remember that kind of is Salute Your Shorts. It wasn't, it ended before you were ready. And who knows, maybe that's exactly why we still remember it. Now, I want to hear from you. Were you watching Salute Your Shorts when it originally aired, or did you find it through reruns? Who was your favorite character? Were you a butt-naked kid or a sponge kid? Maybe a donkey lips kid? Did you live alongside the cast trying to survive without getting an awful waffle? And hey, when you found out this show only had 26 episodes, did that actually surprise you, or did it really feel like a show that existed more in memory than in runtime? As always, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always in there reading and engaging back with y'all. And if there's maybe another short-lived Nickelodeon show, or forgotten kids sitcom, or that weird corner of 90s TV that you want to see us dig into next, let us know down there as well. On Awana, we hold you in our heart.
I don't know about this one. I'm just gonna leave it aside for now. It's Beauty Gold, and then this is Marigold. Mm-hmm. I knew it. Okay, so I do have one. Okay, so they are different colors. Great. Basically the same fucking color. So weird yarn. you serious right now? Yet another. Well, I guess we should be over here more. This one should be here. This one. In the middle. Yeah. That's better. Yep. Yep. Right? Yeah. 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 Yep. 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 Two over lights. One bag down. It's a lot fucking heavier. This is the one I crammed full and like barely could zip up. It's got like a Sure. Sure. You get switched out because you're hanging out like that. So now you get to go in back in the back. Three different colors. Pretty sure that's heather gray. There is an owl that lives in the tree right next to my house. Finally, a white. I don't understand where all the white's gone to. That its twin. That's twin. No. Also, no, this is more yellow. This is more green. It's more gold. Oh, it's got a red tint to it compared to this. This is yet another on its own color. Okay, great. Why is that dog going crazy? Can I have my internet back? Overheating. It says that I have 5G, that's the funniest part. Man, I'm just trying to fucking do my thing. Let's open the garage. Now you guys gotta be super far away though. Did the internet get any better? And I don't have Wi-Fi at all. It's not my dog, right? Okay, just making sure. It's bad, great. Let's see if it gets any better now. Let me know if it gets any better.
After giving Paramount Pictures their biggest hit in 1992 with Wayne's World, Mike Myers probably didn't expect that writing the sequel would lead to the studio threatening to take away his house and all of his money.
Bring. I believe this knife is yours?
Wayne's World 2 centered around a music festival called Waynestock.
Waynestock.
But it turns out that the version we got was almost completely different from Mike Myers' original concept. In today's episode, we'll be looking back on the troubled production of Wayne's World 2. From the legal threats Paramount made against Mike Myers just 10 weeks before filming was supposed to begin, to the tension between the film's stars that kept them from returning to these characters for over 15 years.
If you've been waiting for a motion picture to change your life,
Would you like to have dinner some night?
Oh, I like to have dinner every night.
so are we. Wayne's World 2.
Are you wearing fruit? My woman likes me in cologne.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 10th.
The first Wayne's World is one of those films that was just nothing short of an anomaly. Based on an SNL sketch about two metalheads who live with their parents and operate a public access TV show from a basement, Wayne's World was produced for $20 million, went on to earn over 9 times its budget, and still sits at the top of SNL's highest grossing movies list to this very day. So Paramount, of course, immediately demanded a sequel. And Mike Myers, who later revealed that he didn't see the point in making one, eventually agreed to do it and write it himself. Because, well, money.
Wayne's World 2 came about because Wayne's World 1 did well. That's how it came about.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
On the first Wayne's World, Mike toyed with the idea of basing the plot off of a 1949 British comedic drama called Passport to Pimlico. In the film, an ancient manuscript is discovered which reveals that the district of Pimlico, London, technically isn't under the rule of British government. So the people within that district essentially start their own country. Mike wanted to replicate that plot, with Wayne coming across a piece of paper from the Revolutionary War that reveals Aurora, Illinois never signed on to be a part of America, which allows for him and Garth to start the very first heavy metal state known as Wayne-Davia. On a production cost of $15 million with $5 million more thrown into the marketing, Wayne's World definitely did not have the budget for such an ambitious idea.
It might happen.
Shut
monkeys might fly out of my butt.
However, with $180 million in revenue behind them, the studio believed the idea would work, and Mike was given the green light to write his Passport to Pimlico inspired script for the sequel.
It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine.
However, around the same time, Paramount had a bit of a regime change that sort of muddied the waters a bit. Brandon Tartikoff stepped down from his position as chairman of Paramount for personal reasons. Brandon previously ran NBC when the Wayne's World sketch debuted on SNL and was pivotal in getting the first movie off the ground during his short time at Paramount. When he left, his position and responsibilities were divided out, and Sherry Lansing took over as chairman of Paramount's film division. Early on in 1993, Paramount's legal department informed Sherry that, unbeknownst to them, Mike Myers had pulled story elements from Passport to Pimlico for his Wayne's World 2 script. Now, according to Mike, before writing it, he said to everybody at Paramount, "There is a movie called Passport to Pimlico. I'll write this, but you have to get the rights for it." He claims that Paramount said, "Fine, go ahead and write it," and also stated that he mentioned the movie to the studio in every single meeting he had with them after the fact. With production sets being built, a release date set, a marketing campaign being drafted up, and only 10 weeks to go until filming began, there wasn't enough time to acquire those rights. Not to mention, it was totally possible that Ealing Studios, the owners of Passport to Pimlico, could just turn Paramount down completely. And if they ignored them and released it as it was written, Ealing could have sued Paramount and stopped the movie from getting released. So Paramount had no other choice than to shut production down immediately.
Just give us a second chance. Just don't come in and cancel us without giving us a second chance.
Garth, come on, relax, all right? Your pills?
At that point, Sherry Lansing called Mike Myers and his representation in for an emergency meeting. An anonymous participant in that meeting later shared, "It started out fine, and then she went crazy." Sherry allegedly said to Mike's management, "How dare you? How dare you put us into this position?" Then turned to Mike and said, "We'll sue you. We'll take your fucking house. You won't even own a fucking home." Mike apparently responded to that by saying, "This is the movie I want to make. If I can't do this script, I'm not doing the film." To which Sherry replied, "As I'm sitting here with you, there's a team figuring out how they can take every single thing away from you." Paramount's president of production alleges that Mike went into a fetal position, and Sherry told him to go to Lorne Michaels' office on the Paramount lot and stay there until we came up with a new script. Also saying, "We'll slide food under the door." Can you imagine if this same level of fury had been directed towards the team that was making the Wayne's World video game around that same time? It might have ended up not being total and complete ass. But if you feel like you've heard a variation of this story before, director Pete Siegel has, on multiple occasions, shared a near identical experience he had with Sherry. He couldn't come up with any ideas for Tommy.
I had a phone call from Sherry Lansing. She said, "I have a team of attorneys
speeding to the studio to figure out how to take your home from you and sue you for tens of millions of dollars.
However, Pete took the interaction as more of a learning experience.
10 years later, I'm on the lot and I see her in the commissary and she hugs me and looks straight into my eyes and says, "Do you remember that phone call?" And I said, "Oh yeah." She said, "Worked out pretty well, didn't it?" And I said, "Absolutely. I owe my career to her."
And I get it, some people work best when they have their feet to the fire, but Mike's contemporaries claim that he's a bit of a shy, introverted type who really likes to do things his own way. This experience actually rattled him so much that he vowed to never work with Paramount again as long as Sherry was there. So they missed out on the triple threat that was the Austin Powers trilogy.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
But after she left, they won him back for 2008's The Love Guru.
Think I'm gonna have to do a panty check. I might have some monkey monster back there. No, I'm good.
That had to be his way of getting revenge on him, right? But Mike took his original script, and with the help of the writers of the first film, Bonnie and Terry Turner, gutted it of anything even slightly inspired by Passport to Hitler. But I did obtain the revised production script from about 3 weeks before filming began, and as you'll see throughout the video, even this one is almost completely different from. Although the original Wayne's World was, as Borat once said, a great success, not everyone who worked on it was brought back for the sequel. Most notably, director Penelope Spheris. Penelope claims that in Wayne's World 1, Mike was pretty easygoing throughout the entire show. Well, aside from a moment where he allegedly got a bit cranky when he was eating a bagel, and all they had on set was butter and no margarine. It's been said that Mike suffers from hypoglycemia, but both he and his management have denied those rumors, so take that story with a grain of salt.
I'm hypoglycemic and hyperactive.
However, the real issues came during post-production when the movie was shown to test audiences who loved it from start to finish, but Mike wanted to cut out a bunch of stuff, including but not limited to the Bohemian Rhapsody Earthmobile ride, which he did not want.
Bohemian Rhapsody, good call.
Along with the scene where Stacy crashes her bike into a car. Because, as Penelope put it, he was jealous that the test audience laughed harder at that scene than some of his jokes. Lorne Michaels told Penelope that if she didn't listen to Mike's notes on what scenes to cut, if a sequel ended up getting made, she wouldn't get the call to direct. And that's exactly what happened. So she was replaced by Steven Surgic, who got the gig after proving his talents as a director on Kids in the Hall. Steven remembers being on the Paramount lot after Sherry Lansing toured into Mike Myers, where he heard chainsaws ripping apart the original set after production was shut down.
I could hear the chainsaws literally chopping the sets down as we start to rewrite what we could come in such a rewrite for the script.
Wayne's World 2 opens up pretty similarly to the original film, but this time Wayne and Garth have upgraded their digs from Wayne's basement to the old abandoned Acme doll factory. A year has passed since the first movie, and although Wayne is a little older, a little wiser, he's still with Cassandra, and his life really hasn't changed all that much. Garth, on the other hand, has gone through some big changes.
This year, Garth finally got pubes. You didn't tell him about my pubes, did you?
However, in the earliest version of the production script, Cassandra dumped Wayne to follow her dreams in the music business. While she was still going to be in the movie, her screen time was heavily cut down. Instead, Wayne was going to fall in love with Drew Barrymore's character, Björgen Kjörgen from Jörgen, Sweden, near the Jörgen Fjords. Complete with a falling in love POV shot almost exactly like the one from the first movie, but this time set to the tune of ABBA's Take a Chance on Me.
Take a chance on me, take a chance on me.
In this early version, Wayne met Björgen at Stan Mikita's Donuts rather than WPIG the Pig, because she wasn't Handsome Dan's receptionist, and Handsome Dan was actually Obnoxious Dan, later revealed as a homely-looking man who stands at 4 feet 7 inches. I'm really glad they rewrote this character because Harry Shearer rules, and my favorite line of his had to have been improvised because it's not in the original script.
I think people are getting really cranked.
And you would think that because she's Swedish, Wayne probably wouldn't partake in a heated martial arts battle with Björgen's dad. But you would be wrong. His name was going to be Hagar, Shirley also played by Sammy Hagar, and the scene was pretty much identical to his battle with Cassandra's father in the final movie. I'm not sure why Drew Barrymore's role was severely reduced, but I think it had something to do with other characters being removed or shifted around within the story. Rob Lowe's character Benjamin was initially going to come back for the sequel, and of course try to steal Björgen from Wayne, but he also played a big part in helping the guys plan the Wayne Stock Festival. Apparently, he never committed to a deal with Paramount for that role, so he would instead be brought back to play a new character named Philip, Aerosmith's manager with no pigment in his right eye. However, after showing up for a table read with the rest of the cast, Rob stepped away from the movie. He felt like this new role wasn't right for him and believed the audience would be confused if he appeared as a completely different character from the first film. So the part was instead given to Christopher Walken. And I'm not sure when, but at some point, this role was reworked and split into two as Kevin Pollak's Parks and Rec character,
It's my eyes.
and Bobby Kahn, who, unlike Benjamin, was not going to fall victim to Wayne and Garth's monkey
Dude, why
shots.
do I have so many different white
Hey,
ones,
Victor
but like none of
says
them?
what?
You want me to say what? Like, I don't get it. Is that it?
Oh dear, the last guy didn't get.
Wayne and Garth witnessed an Aerosmith concert up close and personal, which, by the way, was actually filmed both during and after a real Aerosmith show in San Diego. Also, Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder was supposed to have a cameo in this scene, getting passed up to the stage alongside the Goat and Refrigerator. But this experience inspires Wayne and Garth to put on a rock festival called Waynestock. Well, actually, Wayne is told to do so in his dreams by a naked Indian who guides him to Jim Morrison. And Jim tells him to go to England to see a man by the name of Del Preston.
If you book them, they will come.
Originally, none of this stuff with Jim or the naked Indian was in the script. Instead, Chris Farley's character Milton had a much bigger role, and he was going to lead Wayne and Garth to his friend Del, who he described as one of the greatest roadies that's ever lived.
Who's the old lady? That's my old lady.
But all of that was gutted, and those dream sequences were added in, I'm guessing, to simplify and speed up the plot. Originally, they were just going to kind of stumble into Del's weird, creepy house in Aurora, but the whole bit where Wayne and Garth, quote-unquote, fly to London is honestly way funnier.
Here we are at Piccadilly Circus.
Wow, what a shitty circus.
Wayne nervously makes an empty promise to Bobby and Cassandra that Aerosmith, Pearl Jam, Van Halen, and Rick Taylor will be attending the festival. In the original script, this whole interaction was between Wayne and Björgen, and he also name-dropped Nirvana. Despite the fact that Kurt Cobain was a big fan of Aerosmith,
Well, I really liked Aerosmith when I saw them about 10 years ago, and that was a really big show.
he and the rest of the band saw a rough cut of Wayne's World 2, and unfortunately declined to be a part of it. Wayne and Garth head to Aurora's Parks and Rec department to acquire forms and permits for the concert, of which they need to cross the T's and dot the
Lowercase J's.
And this is where Garth meets a familiar-looking assistant named Betty Jo.
You're the guy that's on that Wayne World show.
Now, in the first movie, Garth briefly got with his dream woman played by Donna Dixon.
I love you, God.
I love you, dream woman.
But apparently when Dana read that early lost Wayne's World 2 script, he was a bit upset because Mike Myers never wrote in a love interest for Garth. And his character didn't really have all that much to do. A very similar situation occurred on the first movie, except with that one, Dana would write his own ideas in for Garth, only to have them thrown out or completely rewritten. He got so fed up with what was happening that he actually threatened to quit the movie about 3 weeks before shooting began.
And so I actually, 3 weeks before we started shooting, I said, no thanks, but no thanks. I actually quit the movie. You guys go ahead. I don't want to, I'd have nothing to do with the movie.
A little bitch.
So to keep his co-star happy, Mike wrote in not just one,
Dana
but
Carvey's
two
a
writings
little
for Garth.
bitch. Little
Initially, he
bitch
got
boy.
Kim Basinger, who played a character named Honey Hornay,
Nice to meet you, Miss Horny.
That's Hornay.
and Betty Jo, who was originally called Garthette. Oh wait, no, her name was Waitress. Wait, no, it's Garthette. Wait, what? As far as I can tell, Mike Myers was under so much pressure during those 10 weeks of rewrites that this first draft of the rewritten script is just a complete mess.
Sure.
But this character, or these characters, whatever, were turned into Betty Jo, whose role was heavily minimized in the final version, but Garth seemingly does at least end up with her in the end. And that's good because a playboy like Garth needed to settle down and accept the fact that the only woman for him is, well, pretty much him. If you ever find a girl with a passion for red rope licorice who knows her way around eunuchs, you do not let her get away.
That's a eunuch's book.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Wayne did almost let Cassandra get away, or in the case of this first draft, Björgen. In a segment inspired by The Graduate, complete with the same exact filming location, Wayne leaves the festival to stop Cassandra from marrying Bobby, and gets directions from a guy at a gas station who is hilariously replaced mid-scene through the use of a fourth wall break.
I know it's a small part, but I think we can do better than this.
In the original script, this scene called for his replacement to be a famous British actor, maybe Jeremy Irons. But instead, they got Charlton Heston, which made for one of the greatest cameos in comedy movie history.
Gordon Street.
Continuing with the Graduate theme, after Wayne runs out of gas and hoofs it to the church on foot, instead of the naked Indian giving him a cup of water, this was originally supposed to be Dustin Hoffman.
Didn't you think it was a trifle unnecessary to see the crack in the Indian's bottom?
But he bowed out of the role after deciding to take a break from acting to spend more time with his family. While the Wayne Stock finale existed in every draft of the script, it was drastically changed for the final movie. Instead of just pulling up in the Merc limo at the last second to do the show, Aerosmith's manager Philip tries to stop the performance due to breach of contract. But he gets punched out by Chris Farley's character Milton. The band then takes the stage after an intelligent dialogue exchange about capitalist ventures and the Federalists clashing with Thomas Jefferson. Very much in line with Alice Cooper's conversation from the first movie regarding Milwaukee.
Actually, it's pronounced
Milwaukee,
which is Algonquin for the good land.
The good land.
But as I said earlier, Rob Lowe quit the sequel about a month after this script's completion date, so I'm not sure if this ending was filmed with Christopher Walken playing Philip instead before the character was rewritten as Bobby Conn. But Steven Surgic explained on the commentary that the ending had to be reshot after test audiences reacted negatively to it.
Excuse me? A baking powder?
And because Paramount was dead set on keeping the film's December
Why
1993
did you
release
do
date,
that?
the casting
Ah,
crew
that's
worked
why.
balls to the wall to get those last-minute shoots done.
They put together 3 different shooting crews on the ground and they put everyone else in the air, and we would fly in this, I don't know, there was 12 or 14 aircraft in the air, moving people and things around, and we didn't have time to do anything. We didn't have time to edit it, we didn't have time to, it was just always rushed.
Wayne's World 2 did get finished in time for a holiday release, but unfortunately it wasn't nearly as successful as the first film. Paramount dumped more money into the production budget and way more money into the marketing budget. With big trailer pushes in theaters, constant TV ads, a cross-promotion with McDonald's, the crappy console games I talked about earlier, a point-and-click adventure game for the PC, and an MTV special hosted by Wayne and Garth.
Okay, welcome back to MTV Wayne's World 2. It's a Wayne's World After All special.
The movie absolutely wasn't a box office bomb or anything, but Paramount, of course, expected it to hit bigger numbers than the original. Instead, it made over $100 million less than the first movie. Mike Myers has claimed that the original movie was actually a success because the studio had no faith in it. Paramount dumped Wayne's World into theaters in the dead of winter, where it absolutely killed because its only competition was the Sylvester Stallone classic, Stop.
I'm a mobile shoot!
Whereas the sequel came out just a week after Mrs. Doubtfire, who stole away nearly all of the box office earnings Paramount expected them to pull in. It put out the hit on Wayne and Garth in the form of a run by fruiting.
It was a run by fruiting.
With Dana Carvey leaving SNL early on in 1993, his comedic partnership with Mike Myers was severely strained after Wayne's World 2 wrapped up. A lot of people didn't know this until recent years, but unlike other SNL duos like Aykroyd and Belushi or Spade and Farley, Mike and Dana weren't necessarily buddy-buddy with one another, or even quote-unquote friends. They just had a great working relationship.
Go. I'm gonna kill that. But I am.
Mike had been playing the Wayne Campbell character on a Canadian sketch show called City Limits, going as far back as the early 80s.
Listen, there's this excellent party I was supposed to crash, and I said I wasn't going to come, man.
You came here instead of going to a party?
Well, yeah.
Wayne, I'm amazed. I mean, you are a party animal.
When he took that character over to SNL, Lorne Michaels insisted on pairing him up with another cast member, and that's how Garth Algar was born.
With me as always is Garth. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
While Mike and Dana recall having a great time doing that sketch and both of the movies, around that time, Dana Carvey always felt less important than Mike, and he didn't feel like his co-star. Especially with the movies where
Dana
until he
Carvey's a
vocalized his
whiny
feelings or
bitch.
threatened to quit, many of his ideas were disregarded. When Mike Myers launched off on a rocket of success fueled by Austin Powers, Dana was pretty hurt because he claims that his impression of Lorne Michaels was the main inspiration for Dr. Evil.
Now, he would bite his nail. I just did this. It's a really funny affectation.
Yes.
Because it's so specific. You know, when I saw Mike do it, I did kind of go, man, but, you know, it's a long time ago.
And so for nearly 15 years, Mike and Dana didn't really talk with one another and didn't collaborate on anything. But when they made their return as Wayne and Garth for the 2008 MTV Movie Awards, people went absolutely apeshit.
I'm your wrestling host, Wayne Campbell. With me as always is Garth. Party on.
They brought the characters back a few times since, made amends with one another, and formed a real friendship in the process. With so many legacy sequels being made nowadays, people have asked Mike and Dana about a Wayne's World 3 on countless occasions. Dana always jokes that it'll be a puppet show mall tour instead of an actual movie.
I want to announce tonight Wayne's World 3. It's a puppet show we're doing. It's a mall tour.
Wayne's World 2, as slapped together as it was, only worked as well as it did because it was produced so shortly after the first movie. The longer you wait to make a comedy sequel, the more momentum is lost, and the magic just kind of fades. At this point, there's only enough magic left for some Uber Eats commercials, so let's just leave it at that.
As a local access show, we want everyone to support local restaurants.
Right, Cardi B?
Yeah, eat local.
Before I wrap things up, I just wanted to give a shout out and thanks to the channel's members and patrons. If you'd like to support the channel and see your name at the end of every video, click the join button down below or go to patreon.com/MediaPassTimes. Please leave a comment down below if you liked the video or just share your favorite quote from Wayne's World movies. As always, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.
It's Wayne's World. Excellent. It's Friday.
Jay and Silent Bob debuted almost 30 years ago, and even though they were initially shown as two slackers who loitered outside of a New Jersey convenience store, these characters went on to live out some absolutely insane adventures. In today's video, we're going to comb through the entire history of Jay and Silent Bob by taking a chronological look at every one of their appearances in movies, TV shows, and just about any other form of media you can think of. Starting out with the 1994
I don't know if I
classic
care that
Clerks.
much about Jane Silent Bob.
Just because they serve you doesn't.
In 1994, Jim Carrey graced the big screen with not one, not two, but three massive box office successes, which raked in a combined total of about $700 million worldwide, seemingly transforming him into a pop culture sensation overnight.
He continues to be the comedy meteor of the moment, Jim Carrey. Can I thank everybody? One more thing, I'm pleased to announce that the American people, laughing all the way to your bank, have also voted you their favorite comedy actor on video and their favorite male newcomer on video. Congratulations, Jim. You're the first blockbuster triple winner. Oh, my God.
But Jim's rise to the top of comedy wasn't that simple. And once he got there, his life was sent into a whirlwind by celebrity gossip tabloids and paparazzi who relentlessly invaded his privacy.
The question on everyone's mind at the premiere of The Cable Guy was whether Jim would show up with Lauren Holly and whether their on-again, off-again relationship was on again.
Today's episode will be looking back on the making and aftermath of all three Jim Carrey films from 1994. Starting off with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Now there's a new way to spell hero. Kill me. Jim Carrey is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Rated PG-13. Sneak preview Saturday, January 29th.
When you watch Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, whether or not you enjoy the movie, this is one of those roles where you really can't imagine anyone else playing the character.
Would you like an ashtray?
I don't smoke. It's a disgusting habit.
But it turns out that actually several actors and even one actress were once considered for this movie long before Jim Carrey involved himself with it, including Rick Moranis, Judd Nelson, Alan Rickman, and Whoopi Goldberg, who would have played a character named Alice Ventura. David Alan Grier has mistakenly recalled being offered a role in the movie several times before, but has since corrected himself by stating he was actually offered a co-starring role in a bizarro version of Dumb and Dumber that would have paired him up with Rob Schneider. But we'll get back to that later on in the video. The starting point of Ace goes back to the late 80s, when writer Jack Bernstein envisioned sort of a comedic Sherlock Holmes type character. But after he saw a, at the time, news segment on David Letterman called Stupid Pet Tricks, this idea transformed into a comedic pet detective by the name of Ace Ventura.
Meet Ace Ventura. He's our pet detective.
Came very highly recommended by Martha Metz.
Martha Metz.
Which is weird.
Oh yeah, the bitch.
Unfortunately, the original script for Ace has never been posted online. However, in a 1994 interview, Howard Stern, who I guess laid eyes on it at some point, referred to the original script as
The worst script ever written on the planet Earth, or any other planet for that matter.
But about 2 years after their formation, Morgan Creek Entertainment cashed in on this screenplay with expectations of a big, broad comedy. And with a recent string of box office flops, they needed a comedic powerhouse who would just completely let loose and hopefully land a performance to this movie that would bring in boffo box office dollars for the studio. After building the foundations of his career through stand-up comedy, Jim Carrey eventually appeared in a TV series and a few movies throughout the 1980s that really didn't take advantage of his over-the-top comedic style.
I can say it. You can say no? Yes. You can say no? Yes. So you'll tell them both no? Maybe.
As a result, Hollywood slapped him across the forehead with a metaphorical stamp of rejection. Kicked to the curb, working as an impressionist in Las Vegas, a gig he was really good at but absolutely hated, Damon Wayans recognized that Jim had the potential to be an absolute superstar. So when his brother's new sketch comedy series In Living Color was looking for talent, he brought Jim in for an audition. Keenan Ivory Wayans was blown away and just knew right then and there that this is the guy they wanted on the show.
This is a real knife.
Don't worry about it, Grasshopper. It's okay, come on! Like a lot of beginning students, you attacked me wrong.
During his time on In Living Color, Morgan Creek CEO James G. Robinson took notice of Jim Carrey and spent about 2 years actively pursuing him for the role of Ace Ventura. But Jim later admitted that he hated the original script. It was horrifying. So the studio finally caved and offered Jim Carrey what they referred to as a no-lose situation, saying to him, "You can rewrite it. When you finish rewriting it, if you don't want to do it, you still don't have to." Jim agreed to this proposal and quickly enlisted the help of joke writer and fledgling director Tom Shadyac. After keeping past comedic performances pretty contained on the big screen, Carrey said to Tom, "I've always paid attention to the acting lessons, and the less is more stuff, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being safe." Tom told him, "For Ace Ventura, I want to let you go. I want to let you do what you do on stage."
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
After plugging away at the script and writing a movie so completely tailor-made for Jim that he couldn't possibly let anyone else do it, Tom pitched both the rewrite and himself as a potential director to Morgan Creek. And he received the green light on both fronts despite the fact that he had only directed a TV movie called Frankenstein: The College Years.
Right, have you seen that film?
Yes, I have.
Right, you were probably nervous about...
Frankenstein, the college years?
Right, so you must have been nervous even about him directing.
I was terrified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is one of those movies that just smacks you in the face with chaotic energy as soon as the studio logos fade away. It opens up with a segment that I'm sure is included in every UPS training video to this very day, in which Ace, disguised as a delivery man, rescues a mistreated Shih Tzu from the dude who helped Ernest P. Worrell escape from jail.
Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir. I'll bet it was something nice, though.
Shipping on your schedule. What can Brown do for you?
Pretty quickly, the audience understands that Ace Ventura is the film's sole funny guy, with absolutely everyone else acting as the straight man.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
That's mostly because of the fact that Jim Carrey dialed his performance up to 11. And there wasn't any room in the movie for another even slightly humorous character. Like, this dude somehow seemed more wild and out of control than every single one of his animal companions. And their inclusion kind of saves Ace from coming across as one of the most unlikable dickheads of all time. Because, let's be real, as funny as Jim Carrey played this character and as many incredible one-liners as he spouts off,
Yes, Satan.
if you came across this guy in real life, he would just be absolutely insufferable to be around.
Oh, righty then.
But he's an animal lover, and animals have proven time and time again that they're better than humans, so he gets a pass.
When you feed your dog?
Dog food. Why?
He is miserable.
The character's love for animals also seems to have influenced the way that Jim Carrey played him, because everything from his hair to the way he walks and moves around was actually inspired by a very specific animal.
I based Ace Ventura off of a smart bird, a cockatiel or a parakeet of some kind. The clothing I picked was all, like a colorful bird, tropical bird. The walk was a bird, but when I spoke, it would be like, like birds do this, and that's right. Everything is a little heck and a little, that kind of thing. Everything was based on a bird, even the hairstyle.
As confident as Jim Carrey comes across in this performance, while shooting the movie, he wasn't sure what the audience reception would be. To him, Ace Ventura was either going to ruin his career, because as he later stated, if you go out that far and it doesn't work, you're in a lot of trouble. You don't get a second chance. Or the movie would explode and be very popular, which he saw as the less likely scenario. Cinematographer Julio Macat later admitted that while he found Jim Carrey hilarious on set, the stuff he was doing on camera was so over the top that he wasn't so optimistic about just how well it would play out on the big screen. Further elaborating those feelings by saying, "I truly thought this was going to be the biggest piece of shit ever."
Loser.
But all of that changed on the day in which the climactic Philadelphia Eagles mascot
Why
fight
the
scene
hell
was
is it
filmed.
so much
Julio
longer on
recalls
one
that
ball
over
than the
300
other?
extras
That's
were brought in to
fucking
fill the seats
bullshit.
in the background. And when Jim Carrey walked onto the set, the whole place went crazy the second they laid eyes on him. At that point, he thought to himself, so people know this guy. He's so over the top that it could work. Ace would hold its Hollywood premiere about a week and a half before its theatrical debut, at which point David Alan Grier was told that he would be sitting right next to Jim during the screening. David, knowing that his buddy was filled with anxiety over the thought of this movie just crashing and burning in front of an audience, genuinely laughed out loud at the movie until his throat was sore. But deep down, he thought that absolutely no one was going to see it.
Well, I see Chris Rock in the lobby. Chris goes, David, no one. We'll see. Okay? Forget it. Right over my head. I was wrong.
Well, it turns out that everyone who could possibly be enticed by a poster with a guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt, donning a haircut reminiscent of a DQ swirly cone, went and saw the movie. Because Ace Ventura managed to take the top spot on its opening weekend, even knocking
They literally
Robin
shorted
Williams,
me like
improv king,
2
out of the top
ounces
spot
on
with
this other
Mrs.
ball.
I do a great
What the
impression
hell?
of
There's
Otto.
so much.
And the movie continued to just absolutely dominate for the next 2 months, eventually bringing in a total of $107 million worldwide. In the span of 1 weekend, Jim Carrey went from that hilarious white guy on In Living Color to Hollywood's newest comedy goldmine. With that series, Jim was provided with, as Marlon Wayans put it, a playground to just let loose and show the world what he's capable of. And after 5 seasons, with only 1 episode ever dipping below a 10 million viewer rating, Jim had amassed an audience of fans that were just absolutely fiending for a movie that took advantage of his comedic style.
Yes, we
The
were.
#1 film in America is Ace Ventura. Yes, yes, yes! It's hilarious, outrageous, a perfect comedy.
And even though Ace Ventura definitely provided Jim with a stage that introduced his over-the-top comedic
Jim
styles
Carrey
to a
is
bigger
basically
audience,
who
his next
I
movie
based my
all
sense
but
of humor
guaranteed
on.
that he would become a household name.
Pretty much my entire childhood.
Action comedy of the summer. Okay, it's
Just do it, don't
Jim
fucking
Carrey
wait.
is hilarious. Somebody stop me. The Mask is pure movie magic. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, advanced preview Thursday.
Much like Ace Ventura, The Mask is a character that you just can't imagine anyone else playing. But once again, Jim Carrey wasn't even close to the first person considered for this role. Debuting in a 1987 issue of Dark Horse Presents with a differently spelled name, the Mask character was eventually reshaped and fleshed out in a 1989 series called Mayhem. Mayhem focused on a nerdy pushover named Stanley Ipkiss, who purchases a rare mask for his girlfriend at an antique shop that he quickly discovers grants the wearer with powers of invulnerability,
Look, Ma! I'm roadkill!
shape-shifting, and the ability to pull random objects out of thin air. And of course, the wearer's personality is amplified and their character traits are exaggerated to the energy level of a cartoon character. That same year, Dark Horse Comics shopped the Mayhem version of the Mask around to various Hollywood studios. Several studios showed interest in adapting the series, but New Line Cinema was the only one that gave Dark Horse a guarantee that the movie would actually get made. And with a title like Mayhem, it should come as no surprise that this series' depiction of the Mask was just absolutely brutal in tone. But that worked out because New Line was essentially the Freddy Krueger studio at that point in time. So the Mask would be right at home there, and the studio kind of saw this character as the next Freddy. With that in mind, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 director Jack Shoulder was initially hired to direct the film. At that point, the studio was dead set on keeping the movie violent and R-rated, but unsure if the movie should be 100% faithful
done. I wanna
or
go
not
back
at all
inside.
faithful to the story of the movie. At some point, Jack Shoulder stepped away from the project. So naturally, New Line jumped ahead one Elm Street movie by enlisting Dream Warriors director Chuck Russell to take his place. Shortly after he accepted the job, Chuck went to see a show at the Comedy Store, at which point he was introduced to a young
The garage is the only thing that I really haven't unpacked all the way. I still have my laundry that I have. This is like all my laundry.
living color, and Chuck was so blown away that he essentially decided to scrap the ultra-violent tone of the comic and make the mask into more of an edgy PG-13 comedy that was specifically written with Jim Carrey in mind.
Very early on in the process, Chuck told me to write this film for someone named Jim Carrey. Distinctly saying who.
With less violence and a comedic twist established, an entirely new screenplay was written, and although Chuck was dead set on casting Jim Carrey in the role, he had his own list of backup actors that were a bit more well-known, including Nicolas Cage and Jim's future The Cool Guy co-star Matthew Broderick. Meanwhile, the studio was considering some safer choices: Robin Williams, Martin Short, and once again, Rick Moranis.
Yeah, it's really nice out
But Jim was brought in to meet Chuck Russell and take a look at the script. And his first reaction was to say, "It's like it's written." Jim was fully on board, but the studio saw him as a bit of a risk, because Ace Ventura had yet to come out. And stutters and fumbles like a goober in front of women like Tina Carlisle, played by Cameron Diaz.
Now, how about that account? We have several different plans.
And I mean, come on, can you blame him?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, me too.
Two actresses were originally considered to play Tina Carlisle, being Vanessa Williams along with Anna Nicole Smith.
One's called The Mask by Chuck Russell, and one is Naked Gun Fruit. It's got Jim Carrey in it, the funny guy.
And she loved the script, but the studio lowballed her on the salary, so her agent convinced her to turn it down, and she did the third Naked Gun movie instead.
The thing is, they offered me, this is embarrassing, $50,000.
At that point in time, Cameron Diaz was simply known as Bob.
The thing is, they offered me, this is embarrassing, $50,000.
At that point in time, Cameron Diaz was simply known as Bob. She had no acting experience whatsoever. But when Chuck Russell saw her do a read of the script alongside Jim, it was clear
I'm gonna
that
switch
he
over to
really
TikTok
saw
for a little bit.